Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a topic that is just so frequently misunderstood, yet it literally impacts countless relationships. We are talking about dismissive avoidant attachment. Now, if you or your partner have ever been hit with labels like cold, distant, or selfish, I want you to go ahead and erase those words from your vocabulary right now. Just toss them out. In this explainer, we're going to completely reframe what this attachment style actually is. We'll look at the clinical evidence to see how what looks like total apathy on the outside is actually a deeply misunderstood nervous system response. It's not a character flaw. So there's this really tragic paradox we're dealing with here. Think about it like this. A very intelligent decision made a long time ago is now actively destroying the exact thing they want most. As we're going to see, dismissive avoidant attachment is essentially just an early childhood survival mechanism. The nervous system made a brilliant, highly protective decision way back when to just need less in order to survive. But the tragedy, well, the strategy that worked perfectly at age 5 is now running like outdated software at age 35, and it's actively sabotaging the intimacy that person actually craves. All right, section 1, not a character flaw, the paradigm shift. Okay, so let's fundamentally shift how we look at this. We have to stop viewing avoidance as a personality defect. Instead, let's look at psychologist John Bowlby's attachment theory. Basically, our earliest experiences with caregivers build this internal working model for all our future relationships. For someone with a dismissive avoidant pattern, sometimes clinically called the reluctant lover or the emotional withdrawer, that internal model learned a really harsh lesson early on. It learned that needing others is dangerous. Closeness equals pain. So naturally, independence must equal safety. And the thing is, this isn't some conscious, logical choice they wake up and make every day. It's deeply ingrained wiring. It forces the reluctant lover to treat every single step toward intimacy as an ancient biological alarm, screaming at them about impending rejection. Because of that wiring, there is a massive disconnect happening. I mean, it's night and day. On the surface, the dismissive avoidant partner might look completely calm, maybe even aloof, cold, or selfish to their partner. But the nervous system reality, completely the opposite. Internally, they are in a state of sheer limbic panic. Their body is literally registering an existential threat. So they aren't being mean. They're running a highly effective, deeply ingrained survival strategy to protect themselves from being exposed as not enough. Moving on to section 2, 6 signs of avoidance. Now that we know about this underlying wiring, how does it actually show up in a relationship? Well, I absolutely love this metaphor. Imagine the avoidant partner retreating down to the emotional basement. They're self-contained, quiet, really just trying to regulate something that feels totally overwhelming so they can stay safe. Meanwhile, their partner is way up in the penthouse, desperately calling down, demanding connection. The avoidant isn't hiding in the basement because they don't care. They're down there because the sheer intensity of the penthouse feels like a literal threat to their survival. So what are the actual signs to look out for? There are 6 main ones. First up, emotional withdrawal under stress. Basically, they get super quiet or overly analytical right when you need warmth. Second, difficulty identifying emotions. Their system learned to suppress feelings so well that the signal barely even registers anymore. They genuinely think they're fine, even when they are flooded with stress hormones. Third is extreme self-reliance. It's like a fortress built so they never have to depend on anyone. Fourth, a sudden discomfort with closeness. Think about pulling back right after an amazing intimate weekend together because their nervous system suddenly sounded the alarm. Fifth, and honestly, this one is huge, hearing feedback as failure. They don't hear, I want us to be closer. They hear, I am bad and unacceptable. And finally, number 6, walking away when it gets real. And please remember this. Walking away isn't a lack of love. It's a terrifying, paralyzing fear of being vulnerable and being seen as not enough. Section 3, origins of the wound. Let's trace this deep biological terror of rejection all the way back to its source. Often it stems from early emotional unavailability from caregivers, which forces the kid to just shut down their attachment needs entirely. Fast forward to adulthood, and this turns into what's called orphan sovereignty. Now, this is a trap. It's a self protective illusion of hyper independence dressed up to look like wisdom. This idea of I don't need anyone, I am completely sovereign. It's kind of like the character Wimpy from those old Popeye cartoons. Remember, he'd always say, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. The dismissive avoidant desperately wants connection, but vulnerability is just too scary right now, so they perpetually defer it. They promise to connect on Tuesday, but Tuesday never comes, and the relationship just slowly starves. When a conflict actually hits, the visceral reality for the dismissive avoidant is intense. Imagine feeling completely trapped at the bottom of a dark well. In that moment, they feel so powerless, so fundamentally worthless that they see absolutely no point in even trying to climb out. Once again, to the partner looking down the well, it looks like apathy. But from the inside, it is pure, heavy despair, which brings us to section 4, dancing the waltz of pain. Here's where the tragic loop really destroys relationships. Clinically speaking, 70% to 80% of the time, the dismissive, avoidant, reluctant lover is paired up with an anxiously attached, relentless lover. They're magnetically drawn to each other, but it triggers this brutal cycle. Just look at the devastating translation gap that happens during an argument. The pursuing partner makes a bid for connection or offers feedback, right? They're trying to say, hey, I'm fighting for us. But the avoidance nervous system literally translates that bid as a verdict. They hear, I am a failure. I am a disappointment. I will never be enough. This sends the avoidant deeper into their protective shell, which panics the pursuer into pushing harder, which then causes the avoidant to collapse even further. The system itself is the problem here, not the people. So how do we break this? Well, we have to talk biology, specifically the 6 beats of time. When an attachment bond is threatened, your amygdala, which is your brain's threat detector, fires 6 seconds ahead of your neocortex, the logical part of your brain. So for those first 6 beats of time, you are biologically trapped in a survival response. I mean, even the Dalai Lama has 6 beats of time where he reacts to getting his toe stepped on before he returns to a state of peace. For the avoidant, though, those 6 beats of shutdown can easily last 6 hours or sometimes even 6 days. Here's the absolute most crucial point. You cannot stop the first 6 beats. Biology is going to do its thing. The real clinical goal, the place where true relationship preservation actually happens, is on the 7th beat. That 7th beat is the precious, critical moment of choice where you can finally look up, take a breath, and say, wait a second, this is the pattern. My partner isn't attacking me. This is just our cycle. Section 5, how to actually heal. Knowing all of this, how do we actually fix it? Let's pivot to some actionable steps, because healing doesn't happen in isolated self-improvement. It happens inside a relationship through the physical proof of mutual co-regulation. First, a quick word to the pursuing partner. Your job right now is not to push harder. That is literally just going to make them retreat further into the basement. Your job is to become a regulated, safe landing place. Think of it like coaxing a scared cat out from under a bed. You can't drag them out by force. You just have to sit quietly nearby, offer a safe presence, and wait for their curiosity to eventually win out over their fear. Now, for the avoidant partner, the healing process is what clinicians call withdrawal or softening. And honestly, it is a heroic 4-step process. First, dropping the armor. That means moving past the silence and the constant over-intellectualizing that has kept you safe for decades. Second, revealing the truth. Showing the fear and the longing underneath the retreat and actually admitting, hey, I shut down because I'm terrified I'm not enough. Third, entering the wound. Allowing yourself to really feel the pain you've spent a lifetime avoiding, but doing it with someone else this time. And fourth, asking for comfort, letting your partner into that wound. When a regulated partner safely receives that kind of vulnerability, it gives the avoidance nervous system the exact thing it's been starved of, absolute undeniable proof that being seen doesn't actually end in rejection. Which brings us to our final thought for today. Dismissive avoidant attachment is just an adaptation. And adaptations, well, they can evolve when two people are brave enough to just stop the waltz of pain. So, the ultimate question for the avoidant partner, and really for anyone caught in this kind of dynamic, is this: when every single nerve in your body is screaming at you to run, to shut down, to retreat to the basement, are you willing to stay in the room one moment longer? Are you willing to fight for that seventh beat? Because I promise you that one moment is where absolutely everything changes. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time. If you want to work on this for real, try Figlet, my AI relationship coaching app. You can start for free, no credit card needed, at figlet.empathy.com.